Hello and welcome back to Not Just Another Fat Girl. This is Kristen, aka your resident fat girl. And if you saw yesterday's video, then you know that I am going through a heartbreak or went through one. By the time you guys see this, I should be mostly over it. And I'm able to say that because we all cope differently. And because I know, simply because I have been told over and over and over again that I cope differently than most. The way that I get over something is to put it behind me as quickly as possible. It's not to say that I'm not susceptible to triggers, particularly in the first month or two, but for the most part, I survived all that I have in life by not stopping to think about it, by not dwelling on it, by not considering what I have endured, what I've survived. It's funny because my ex used to say that with the small fires in life, I would have major bouts of anxiety and I would overthink it all to the point where I would react poorly, where I would react, worse than some people, not so level-headed. But with the big things, with the with the things that others usually crumble and fall apart over, like watching someone you love die, I am cool as a cucumber. Um, I am the strongest pillar in the entire lot. I don't flinch. I don't bat an eyelash. I don't fall apart. I've literally been told that I make letting go of someone at the end look easy. Um, Therefore, yeah, I guess you can say I'm very accustomed to letting people go. The fact that that statement's been said to me multiple times kind of tells you the amount of loss that I've experienced, to the point where so many people have witnessed how I deal with the loss. And basically that I do it with a certain degree of grace and dignity, I guess. And to me, I look at heartbreak as another form of death. It's the loss of someone that you cared about, someone that you may have even loved, depending on how long you were with them. It is literally saying goodbye in a very real and a very permanent sense. It is closing an entire chapter of your life because that person will no longer be there. And sadly, that is something that I'm very good at, because I have lost a lot of people. I have said goodbye to a lot of people. Nonetheless, I can say that I wasn't always this way. I have gotten stronger, more determined with time. I've found new reasons to press on every time. And I think that's kind of where you need to start. I think it's easy to get caught up in the ending of something to the point where we feel like our own life is ending. But it's not. You're still living. You're still here. You still have reasons to push forward, to press onwards. And you need to find them, to figure them out if you don't know them already. For me personally, it's my children. It's my career goals and aspirations. It's the fact that I still haven't volunteered in Africa yet, which, fun fact, is in the top 5 on my bucket list. At times it may have seemed like that person was your reason for getting up each day, and with them no longer there, you I mean, you may temporarily lack the motivation, the reason to actually get up and out of bed and to get moving each day. So definitely, I would encourage you to make that priority number one. Find and focus on your reasons to keep going. Secondly, be merciful with yourself. It is okay to be emotional. It is okay to bury your heartache in a pint of Ben and Jerry's if you want to. Um, it is okay to go to the shooting range and, post a picture of your now ex on the target sheet and shoot until the image is nothing but confetti on the ground. You are entitled to work through your emotions any way that you see fit, so long as it isn't detrimental to you or to others. And just kind of a side note here, because I already know, I can already see this coming. I know that some may argue that eating your emotions is detrimental in the long term, and I do agree with that statement. But I'm not discussing anything long term here. I'm telling you not to berate yourself for how you choose to deal with the grief and the emotional, mood swings that come with letting someone go. We are all human. We are all driven by emotion. Sometimes it is easy to forget that men are driven by emotions just as much as women. And I think that's because, in other ways they are driven visually, physically, but we all have feelings. We all react with feeling, even if some of us suppress it. Emotions can turn the most rational people into irrational messes, and that is perfectly okay. Yes, you are entitled to have a few bad days, a few off days, a few down days. You are allowed to feel whatever it is that you are feeling. And you are even allowed to embrace those feelings for a bit. But that's the key. That's the catch, Ensure that it is only for a little while. At some point, we all need to move on. Which brings me to my next point. Thirdly, don't be afraid to get back out there, to move on sooner rather than later. After my marriage ended, I took 7 months before I started talking to guys. Now, to kind of give you a little bit of backstory there, my marriage had really ended long before we actually broke up. We got divorced over 5 years ago, and we actually broke up because we gave it another go about, oh goodness, it's been 2.5, a little over 2.5 years now. And it ended long before we ever broke up. It ended long before we even divorced. But it still took me quite a bit of time to get back out there. I took 7 months before I started talking to guys. And the reason why I'm telling you guys to not be afraid to get back on the horse and to kind of get back out there is because, even if it's just in a baby step with just talking to people, mentally and emotionally, it did give me that boost. Because I felt like I was moving in the right direction towards the future rather than simply remaining in the past. Now, I didn't actually meet up with anyone until it's right around the 14th month. And I didn't start officially dating someone until around 17 months out. Even though it took me a while longer to meet someone in person, I didn't regret, getting back out there when I did. I needed that. I needed that pick-me-up. And the best thing was, it was my gauge as well. You know, it told me where I was in the grieving process. It told me where I was emotionally and mentally based off of how far I was willing to go with someone. Not even in the sense of actually going there, but I'm saying in consideration, even, you know, and there is nothing wrong with jumping right back in head first. And there is nothing wrong with waiting either. So long as you aren't waiting in the past, so long as you are keeping you basically are keeping yourself away from, basically, so long as you aren't keeping yourself in a permanent emotional and mental purgatory, essentially. That's the bottom line there, is that you want to make sure that if you are waiting, it's for a reason, essentially. It is so you can get to a place where you are ready to move on, and it's not because you're trying to punish yourself. And that kind of brings me to number 4, which is don't be negative. I know it sounds simple enough, but it's not. It is so easy to feel down. It is easy to be depressed. It's easy to be overwhelmed and to be daunted by the idea of starting over, of starting from scratch with someone new. It doesn't matter the amount of time. You had so much time invested in the last person, so much rapport built up. But that's also why it's easier to be afraid, to be negative, and to be fearful. You know, what's to say that it won't happen again? And to be frank, I can't guarantee that it won't happen again and again. But you're sacrificing far more by giving up than you are by trying. If you continue to try, if you continue to put yourself out there, statistically speaking, you have a much higher probability of success. And like I said before, I firmly believe that there is someone for everyone. And I know that the right person is worth the wait and will make me forget every other heartbreak before them. So long as I don't hold every other heartbreak before them against them. And I'm going to say that one again, okay? Do not hold every other heartbreak, everything that every other guy or girl did wrong against the current one. No one likes prejudice, and everyone deserves a fair chance. Yeah, I'm definitely that nice of a person. I'm that wholesome of a person, you know, to believe that everyone, regardless of their past, even if they committed mass murders, deserves a second chance. To some, that may make me naive. I think I've mentioned it before. I mean, that probably is telling enough, but I'm a very forgiving person. Because I know that anyone can change, and they can change at any point in time. And I still believe in humanity as a whole. I'm not ignorant to the bad things in life, because Lord knows I have experienced enough of them. But I still have faith in people. I still believe in giving everyone a chance, or 2 or 3. I believe in forgiveness. And that is the 5th piece, forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself and the other person, not for them, not for anyone else, but for you. Anger, bitterness, resentment, even for regrets, doesn't change the people around you. It doesn't even change what happens. it changes you. It literally like turns your soul black. It darkens your heart and it drives people away. It drives opportunities away. It causes you to lose more than you already have. And it keeps you trapped in the past. It prevents you from moving on to someone better, to something better. Not forgiving someone is basically you accepting a perpetual prison sentence for no reason other than self-destruction. Because that is the only person whose life you will destroy, your own. Forgiveness is a choice that I personally will recommend every single time, no matter what anyone did to you or your children or your family. Because the only other choice is basically to live your life forever chained to that person and to those events and to what they did to you or how they did you wrong. And that's no way to live. That definitely is no way to live. So, how do you get over heartbreak? However you can. That's the bottom line. There is no one size fits all with anything in life. Aside from the fact that every single person experiences heartbreak, heartache, heartbreak, or they will come to know heartbreak at some point in time if they haven't already. You know, we all experience it. And we all experience dips and blips in life. You know, we all hit bottoms at many points. We all have our low points, essentially. But you have to get back up. You have to get back on the horse and keep trying. Keep pressing onwards. It is the only way things will get better. By letting go, by moving on from the past, by pushing towards whatever your idea of better is. It's by actually doing something, not simply wallowing forever. So, eat your ice cream, cry your eyes out, don't wash your hair for a week if you want. Do whatever you want to do. Whatever you need to do to cope with the initial shock, the initial emotional swing from it. Basically your knee-jerk reaction. And in the midst of all of that, forgive yourself. Forgive them. Forgive life for handing this to you. Forgive that so that you can well and truly move on. So when the time comes, you can shower, you can clean yourself up, you can get dressed, and you can fully, completely, wholeheartedly move on to better. And that is the single assurance I can give you. I don't know how many heartbreaks you will endure, but I do know that one day you will find better. We will find better. And he, she, they, whoever will make you forget every heartbreak before them. Not in the sense that you will forget the pain or forget the people, but in the sense that you will no longer focus on what you've had to overcome. And you will then be able to focus on what you have found, on the perfectly imperfect person or people, if you are poly, you will spend forever with. And that's something to be happy about. The best is yet to come. Know that. Believe that. Live in that truth. The best is yet to come. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I hope that you were able to get something from it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And Until next time, stay fabulous, and please do remember, the best is yet to come.